Here are 3 tips that I would use to get through the Airbnb bust. And listen, if you're a brand new Airbnb host, if you haven't even started yet, or maybe you're a seasoned Airbnb host and you're like, look, my occupancy is very low, I don't understand how to increase it, then this video is going to be for you. It also is for the person who's looking to get into Airbnb and doesn't really understand and has that roadblock in their mind of what happens if I don't have enough people inside my Airbnb. How am I going to be able to pay the rent and the utilities for my property? In this video, you want to stay every second of every minute all the way to the end, because I'm going to give you the 3 best tips that I would do if I was going through the bust or if I was brand new, so that I can understand how this works and how I can be effectively successful in the Airbnb business. So step number 1, and that is this. You need to learn dynamic pricing. First, you have to understand what dynamic pricing is. That's just a fancy word of what hotels use to basically price the daily rate. So think about it like this. If there's high demand, then you can raise your prices, right? Because there's a lot of people that want your property. If there's low demand, then you need to lower your prices. That means that not a lot of people are looking. So you're going to need to lower your prices. Weekends will always be higher than weekdays. Weekends are always going to be higher by about 50 to 60% than a weekday. So Sunday through Thursday may be your regular pricing. And then Friday and Saturday, that would be an increase of about 50% off the price that you're charging Sunday through Thursday. The other thing I want you to do is go through all the holidays immediately. Whether you're a host or you're thinking about this, think about this way. If we can go through and we were to say, ask Google, what are the holiday dates? So I would go through and I would say, okay, what is Easter looking like? 4th of July. What is Memorial Day? What are those dates? And I want you to go to those dates and increase the price point by a minimum of 50% off your normal pricing on your weekends. If it lands on a weekend, I want you to double the price. If it lands on a weekday, I want you to double the price as well, than your normal rate, because people are traveling for holidays. And if this tip right here just changed the game for you, go through every date of the holiday coming through the rest of the year and just make that increase right now so you don't forget. Because a lot of times we use our pricing strategy tools. Maybe you guys are using Price Labs or maybe you're using Wheelhouse, but here's the thing. Those softwares are good for a certain thing, but they're not really good to predict everything. They don't know your town so much. They don't know when festivals are coming in. They don't know when the demand is high. And so for that reason, we have to manually go in and change prices sometimes. So remember, you want to book, you want your availability to be Sunday through Thursday, only one day. So somebody could come in and book one of those dates. But Friday and Saturday, you want to have a 2-day minimum. When you're going to pricing, this is called dynamic pricing, and here's exactly how I would do it. Okay, so here's really how dynamic pricing works. Okay, we're in March of 2024 here, okay? So if you look here, it looks like we're pretty booked out, right? And so today's the 13th of March, right? And then we've got a booking from the 12th to the 14th, right? So what I would be looking for in this case, let's go down to April and see. So for example, in dynamic pricing, let's just check March for a minute. If I didn't have these days booked, these next 4 days booked, I would be lowering it 70%, 60%, 50%, and 40%. So what that means is this: if today's the 13th, I'm really looking at the next, so you know, I'm really looking at the next 14 days from today's date. That's what I care about, okay? Are they booked? Are they not? Now, these ones are booked because they're booked through vrbo, which means they're gray. But in a case like this, where maybe tomorrow's the 14th, the 15th, the 16th, and the 17th, the first 4 days I'm looking at immediately, and those aren't booked, I'm gonna be down 40% on the 4th day, 50% discount here, 60% discount here, and up to 70% off my normal price for the very next day. So look out the first 4 days and say, okay, is there any bookings? And if I can basically take off the price. The reason why dynamic pricing is so important, the reason why what I'm telling you is so important, is because if you have this mindset of I should be getting, $170 per night, and you don't change the next 4 days immediately, and there's no bookings there, that day is going to go by and you're going to end up with a big fat 0 versus something. Something is better than nothing. And that's how you get your occupancy up, okay? So if I'm on the 13th, I'm really looking, like today's the 14th, that's why that block box is around it. So I'm really looking at 14, 15, 16, and 17, okay? Now, if these were not booked, I would use this price right here, and I would take off 40% off of that price, what my normal price is there. And then I would go here, 50% off. I would go here, 60% off. I might even go to 65 to 70% off for the very next day. So the reason for that, okay, is that you're not going to show up on search if people see this right here and the last couple days, because lead time. And so every city has a different lead time. What essentially that means is that the lead time will tell you how far out people generally book your property. And let's say it's like 30 days. Well, the chances of you getting somebody within the 30-day part is very difficult, right? So you have to lower the prices within the month that you're in so that you can effectively get bookings. Weekends are always going to be more expensive. You see, my average daily rate here is 170, but look at my weekends. 257, 229, right? 187, 187. They're higher than the 170. I recommend, if you're going to do weekends, I would go up about 40 to 50% for Friday and Saturday. Sunday, right here, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, your regular pricing, and then increase Friday and Saturday. Now remember, I talked about availability. You want to make sure you've got it here. Friday and Saturday should be your 2 nights minimum. Everything else should be a 1. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1 day minimum they can book. And Friday and Saturday, that should be your 2 days minimum. Don't let people come in and steal one of your weekends away from you, okay? Because weekends go first, always. Step number 2, and that is this. You have to think about the cost of optimizing a cleaner. Let me tell you what we did early on. In the beginning, I was hiring a cleaning company, and I will tell you that about a 2 to 3 hour clean was costing us about $250 per clean. Now, I want you to think about this. Here's where an optimization to cut a lot of the costs comes down. And this is how you make it through the Airbnb bust. And this is why most people are getting cut out, because they still have a professional cleaning company doing their cleans. They also have hired management companies to give basically 25% of their revenue. These people are getting crushed right now. You need to manage your own property, which I have a lot of videos on just managing your property, so you don't have to pay that 25%, because if you're spending more than 15 minutes a day managing your property, you're overworking. And that's what I'm gonna teach you guys. But more important on the cleaning side of things is, what if you hired a cleaner for $20 an hour off of Indeed or off of Monster, off of Facebook? You got them for $20 an hour and you just showed them what needed to be done, because they're already a cleaner, and now it's a little bit different for an Airbnb cleaner because it has to be spotless. There can't be a hair on the bed, can't be any hairs in the kitchen or on the sink. It has to be very, very meticulously cleaned, or you're gonna get complaints and start getting 1, 2, and 3 star reviews. So what if, instead of paying $250 for a cleaning company to come in, you were able to pay $20 an hour, and now it's $50 for them to come in and clean a property? You see where now you make that extra $200 on every single clean. Now picture this. If you have an average of 6 cleans per month, which is normal, every 3-4 days, think about this. 6 cleans times $200 savings, you are now $1,200 more in your pocket that you just saved by going with an hourly versus a company. We had to learn this very early on, and we ended up building our own cleaning company into the project and into the business because it was just costing us so much money and we were draining. We were like, we can't do this anymore. So we had to figure out and optimize. I'm giving you this heads up right now. If you want to make it through the Airbnb bust that everybody's talking about, these 3 things right here are just game changers, guys. Okay? And that leads me right into number 3, and that is this. There are things called orphan days, and I'm going to explain that right here. Now, what I want to talk about is an orphan day. Essentially what it means is this. Let's go into April for a second. Let's look at April 24, right? We're booked out right here. So now let's look at the last day. Yep, looks like the last day of March is booked. And then we don't have a booking until the 3rd of April. So there's right here, Monday and Tuesday, these are called orphan days. Essentially what that means is 2 bookings with the days in between that are not booked, right? So you can see here, these are booked because it's through vrbo, which is why it's gray. And then the 1st of April and the 2nd are not booked. And then we got another booking on the 3rd. The same thing right here, okay? Let's look at another orphan day. So for example, if you had the 3rd through the 7th, and then the 8th is an orphan day, because then we have another booking here. So it's an empty day between 2 bookings. That's called the orphan days. Now, if you are in Airbnb and know that Airbnb is an interest algorithm, and you know that it's to find yourself in search is going to be very difficult, because somebody would have to be looking for April 1st and April 2nd on a Monday and on a Tuesday in order for these to be booked. So what I'm gonna do as I get closer, now remember, I'm only looking at the first 14 days. The first 4 days really is what I'm looking for to change the prices immediately. But I'm really keeping an eye on the first 2 weeks after today's date. Today's the 13th. I'm really looking out to the 27th and keeping my eye on it, okay? And so what I'm then doing is I'm coming in here and I'm looking for my orphan days, and then those have to be slashed at least 50%. Now this is at 170. these are coming down to about 80 bucks, okay? Because the chances of these getting booked are very, very slim. So you want to make sure that you lower it so you show up in search, and then people will see you and it'll be enticing to pick it up for 70 bucks, 80 bucks versus 170. And so because of that, you'll get it booked, and the $70 is way better than a big fat zero. This is how you do orphan days. And thank you guys. If you got value out of this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. I'm the only person in America that's coming to you every single day to give you the real stuff, no fluff. I'm #1 in the country in Airbnb arbitrage, and I'm here to help you. If you need any help at all, just put the word Airbnb in the comment section and I will personally reach out to you. Thank you guys for watching. Love each and every one of you guys. Let's crush it together. Here are the 3 tips to make it through the Airbnb bust, but also so you understand pricing and orphan days and dynamic and really how to shave off money off the cleaning cost. Let's roll.